Welcome to the Joliet Junior College regular board meeting of the trustees dated Wednesday, May 10th, 2023. Item 1.0 is called to order. 1.01 roll call. Karen, can you call the roll?
Trustee Broderick?
Present.
Trustee Ellis?
Present.
Trustee Garcia-Guillen?
Present.
Trustee Harris?
Present.
Trustee Lee? Trustee Mahalik?
Here.
Trustee Morales?
Here.
Trustee Pazinski?
Present. 1.02, welcome. 1.03, Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Mahalik, can you call Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
1.04, public comments. Is there any public comments?
None that I'm aware of.
1.05, communications.
Chairman, if I may invite Kelly Roeder-Tonelli to the podium to begin that portion of our agenda. Kelly?
Absolutely. Good evening, trustees, Dr. Namuo, and members of the college community. As you know, we've started a really lovely tradition of publicly celebrating and acknowledging our community partnerships. And so this month, I bring to you a letter from Chantel Gamboa, who is the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of Joliet, which I will read to you right now. Joliet Junior College has been valuable to the Joliet community and its youth. The G.W. Buck Boys and Girls Club's mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. In 2018, the Boys and Girls Club and Joliet Junior College came together to form a partnership that has been instrumental in supporting the club's mission. Furthermore, this partnership has equipped JJC's students with practical skills in developing healthy relationships with youth, administering skill assessments, and facilitating individual and small group tutoring sessions. The Boys and Girls Club serves marginalized youth who live in Joliet and surrounding Will County communities. Many club members live in single-parent homes, are in the foster care system, or reside in homeless shelters. The Boys and Girls Club has benefited from JJC students who come from varied backgrounds and courses of study. Mondays through Fridays, JJC students, and that's this semester, they change every semester, but this semester, JJC students Rebecca Ramirez, Christina Wen, and Jessica Martinez assist students with completing homework, and these are work study students from JJC. Youth needing additional academic support are provided additional skill-based learning in math and reading. JJC students support the Boys and Girls Club organization all year round and help make the club a fun experience for our kids. When homework is completed, Christina, Rebecca, and Jessica assist students with arts and craft activities. Their participation in the club helps to provide consistent academic and social and emotional support to our youth and helps in the implementation of enrichment and recreational activities. JJC students are also able to make impactful connections with our youth as they serve as positive role models for which our youth can identify. In addition, JJC students' time at the club enriches their classroom learning because these partnerships allow them to gain experience in youth development. Our youth have made strides in the area of reading and math while demonstrating increased confidence and a positive attitude towards school as a result of tutoring and intervention. The Boys and Girls Club of Joliet is grateful and appreciative of the continuing partnership it has with Joliet Junior College. We look forward to fostering this wonderful relationship and identifying other ways in which we can grow together. And I'll just add here briefly, one of the first things that we were able to do that's not mentioned in this letter, but I know was a real treat for the kids, was our baseball team from the athletics department came out, did a summer baseball camp with them, and then took them to a Slammers game, which if you can picture where that Slammers stadium is, the club location is right there. So, yeah, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, if I may, want to welcome you as this is your first meeting as chair, Trustee Morales and Vice Chair Morales now, returning Secretary Garcia again, and of course, first official regular board meeting for Trustee Harris and our new student trustee, Aisha Ellis. We wanted to make some space and some time to acknowledge you all as new executive leadership of the board, the new trustees, and dedicate some time to any comments that you'd be interested in making.
I can start if it's anybody. You want to
Start.
Okay. So I think I said thank you at the last board meeting when I took my oath, but I just basically wanted to share, why it is that I chose to seek an appointment 8 years ago when there was an opening in the paper and they had 2 open seats, and I decided to give it a shot and turn in my resume and, come before the board for an interview. And basically, people love to complain about everything, and because they want to see some sort of change. But if you're not doing anything to be part of the change or to bring the change that you want to see, then all you're going to do is complain. So I decided I'm not going to complain. I'm going to, give it my best shot and have an opportunity to go and interview. And I was fortunate enough to have been appointed for 2 years. And then I served for 6 years, and then I re-ran recently, and I will continue to serve this institution and our students and faculty and staff for another 6 years. So I just want to see that, I would complain that I don't see people like me in the classroom, in hospitals, in professional settings, and you can't complain about things if you're not going to do something about it. So that's why I decided to get involved and, run for this office. And I'm really happy to be a part of the leadership board because this college transformed my life. This is a transformational place where so much happens at JJC, and if you don't take advantage of all the services, then that's on the students. But at that time, over 20 years ago when I worked here, I noticed that there were a lot of gaps, and I'm happy to see that those gaps are minimal. We still have some work to do, but I think we're doing a lot more to do outreach to students to make sure we don't have students fall through the cracks. So that's the reason why I decided to run for the board. And if I couldn't come back to work at this great institution, I'm so happy to be here that I'm willing to do it for free. So yeah, not that I can afford to do it, but I make time for it. But thank you.
Hi, everyone. I decided to run for the student trustee position because I see it as a great opportunity for growth, a chance to learn governance, policy, networking, budgeting, and how to have an impact on the community. The student trustee position allows me to continue to show up and support my peers. This position is not Aisha's position. It belongs to the students of JJC. I am very grateful to be the representing voice of the world's future leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
When I first ran, my wife asked me, why do I want to do this? And my first couple answers she didn't like. And she wanted to make sure I was doing it for the right reason. And it wasn't about me, it was about this facility. When I first started doing this is there was no sense trying to fix something because actually it wasn't broken. JJC has been amazing in our community for years. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, the higher learning space changed quite a bit. We saw a lot of employers get rid of employees, find better ways to do things and not have an opportunity for those same employees to return. We saw campus lockdowns here where we weren't allowing students into the classroom, but yet we still wanted them to grow and engage. So we had a transition to virtual. We saw increases when everything happened again and all the expenses with the economy, we saw increases in all of higher learning, especially in our four-year colleges. Those are the families that saw their expenses, climb quite a bit. I would hope that we learned because of these circumstances, even though we suffered some losses as well in enrollment, but I think we learned a lot about where we were going forward, and I think the staff and the president at the time managed it very well. The question is now, will JJC continue to be the benchmark for community colleges? What we don't want to see happen is wait and see what other people are doing. The board has seen many recent proposals for moving ahead that will allow us to remain a focal point in our communities, and we want to grow in the communities. The learning space has changed, and we need to learn what changes are actually needed here on campus. The role of the board chair here is just to help facilitate facilitates this change while supporting the president and cabinet to meet the evolving needs of our students and also the employers who benefit from our students. We need to understand what they're looking for in our students and make sure that we're producing graduated talent that can walk right into high-paying jobs in the communities that we service. I envision the growth of Joliet Junior College and the focus on our westward communities. I look to see the building energy in 12 by 12 and other initiatives plant the seeds of education in the communities and in the minds of our young incoming student pools. We are anxious to set continued incredible success stories, many of which we're going to see next Friday. We're talking about trustee-wise. What we don't know is why are each of these students crossing that stage? What are they looking for in life? Did we meet their needs? Are we servicing them while they're here? And I wish we could spend a whole day just listening to all the whys. JJC is positioning itself to accomplish great things, and my role on this board is to help make it possible. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry, I'm hitting the mic too. Good afternoon. My name is Nancy Garcia Guillen, and I am the second Latina elected by the community for this position for the Board of Trustees, and something that I'm really proud of. I'm entering my 4th year as a trustee. I was elected in 2019, and there has been definitely a big opportunity for growth in this particular position, and as I continue to learn and collaborate with my fellow trustees. So that's something that I'm really proud of. Initially, I ran for this position because I wanted to make sure that I was part of the table, in this case, several tables, that are making decisions that affect the students that we serve and also the community at large, because they depend on a lot of different resources that we offer. And JJC is a lot of things for a lot of different people. It's a way to start their journey for an associate. For a lot of our students and community members, it's an opportunity to get that GED that is needed in order to continue for whatever career they want. For a lot of them, it's ESL, but we want to make sure that we are a safe place, a resource where community members are able to find something that they need, or they know that they can go ahead and reach out to JJC for any resource, and we will try to connect them or help them directly in the college. So that's something that I'm really proud of. Again, has been great progress that we have been able to accomplish. There's still a lot of room for growth. And there's a lot of room for different initiatives, and that's something that I'm really excited about, supporting additional initiatives that we have to continue to support our students. One of the things that we want to make sure is that we are able to support students at whatever stage they're in within their journey, and make different resources accessible, including language access and different things. So we just want to make sure that everything is a way to connect people to those beautiful and necessary resources. Thank you.
It's my turn. First, let me say I am grateful for the honor and privilege of being elected as a member of this esteemed board. I am humbled by the trust and confidence that each of you have placed in me, and I assure you that I will work tirelessly to fulfill my duties and contribute to the growth and success of the Joliet Junior College. As a proud alumni of Joliet Junior College and first-generation college student, I know it's important to have resources such as a community college to help advance our young adults' future goals. And of course, I do believe they do have goals, and we need a place to advance them. And junior college is the place. I am passionate about contributing my expertise to help Joliet Junior College continue to be an exceptional institution for all the students that we serve. Again, I'm deeply humbled and looking forward to working collaboratively with the other trustees, the administration, and all of our community partners throughout the Joliet Junior College District in order that we maintain the college's high standards of excellence and growth. My first idea of a new program is to make a few shoe cobblers from this college, as it is a service that's greatly needed, especially starting right here in the city of Joliet. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention something noteworthy. Out of the 100 years Joliet Junior College has been in existence, I am the third African American, second African American female out of the three to be elected by public vote to the Board of Trustees, and I am very proud of that. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve as your trustee of the Joliet Junior College Board. Together, we can achieve great things. And I finally get to say, I yield back the remainder of my time.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is 1.06, closed session. The item is Chair's request for a closed session for discussion under 2C1, 2C2, and 2C11.
I need a motion.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Buzinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
One 1.07, return to public session. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick? Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee? Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Buzinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
1.1, moment of silence.
Chairman, I'm asking the college community to join us in a moment of silence for Jeffrey Richardson, the brother of Doug Richardson, and Virginia Ryder, the mother-in-law of Doug Richardson. And Doug's an associate professor in our EMT, Fire Sciences, Health and Public Services. Additionally, Thomas Webster Bogan, the grandfather of Susan Rowald, our organizational change manager. And lastly, Mary Grace Walker, the grandmother of Cheryl Crudup in Access Services, our Access Services clerk. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you. 1.2, selected reports. 1.2.1, Board of Trustee approval of June as the LGBTQ plus Pride Month proclamation.
Good evening, Dr. Namuo, Board of Trustees, and members of the JJC community. It is an honor to introduce Ryan Queenie. Ryan is 22 years old. They is Human Services major. Ryan is a student leader here on campus, and they is current sitting president of the Pride Alliance.
Whereas Joliet Junior College would like to officially recognize June as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, or Questioning Pride Month, to acknowledge and celebrate the history of those who have made and continue to make valuable contributions in our society and in ensuring progress and lasting equality for LGBTQ plus individuals. And whereas June will act as a time of remembrance to honor the historic and revolutionary events that occurred at the Stonewall Inn in June of 1969, which laid the foundation for the ongoing equality movement in regards to LGBTQ plus communities. This month will serve as a time of personal reflection for the LGBTQ plus community and their allies towards the effort to raise awareness in regards to the needs of the LGBTQ plus community and create improvement. And whereas during LGBTQ plus Pride Month, we state our promise to uphold the freedom, dignity, and self-esteem of all individuals within this community and promise to dedicate ourselves to protecting them against all forms of discrimination, oppression, and hatred. LGBTQ plus Pride Month reiterates that LGBTQ rights are human rights, and Joliet Junior College stands with and will continue to support this community to accept nothing less than full equality. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Illinois Community College District Number 525, Joliet Junior College of Will County, Grundy, Kendall, LaSalle, Kankakee, Livingston, and Cook, State of Illinois, does hereby recognize and honor June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month, adopted this 10th day of May, 2023.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say
Aye.
aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
1.2.2, 2024 through 2027 strategic plan update. Dr. Yolanda Farmer.
Yes, thank you so much. Good evening, Chairman Bazinski, trustees of the board, Joliet Junior College community. Once again, I bring to you two fabulous women from Campus Works who will provide a strategic plan update for us today. So Dr. Kirsten Hunter and Dr. Samantha Kelser. I'm turning it over to you virtually.
Good evening, trustees. Dr. Namuo, Joliet Junior College. I will be sharing. Let's see. I just need to make sure I'm getting up the right image here. Sorry for this moment. And all right, everyone. I am here this evening to share with you the update on the college's strategic plan, the 2024 to 2027 progress update. As you recall, Dr. Samantha Kessler and I have been coordinating the college's strategic planning work since January. Tonight, I'm pleased to share the outcome of this planning process and to do a brief overview of the plan. We had a strong steering committee led by a lead planning team with senior leaders at the campus, and the strategic planning committee, of course, included representatives from all across the campus units and departments. Everybody did a wonderful job representing the various needs of the campus, as well as keeping students at the core of all of our conversations. Since January, we worked our way through a process that was intentionally designed to solicit input and engagement using a variety of approaches, gathering insights from strategic committee members, from steering committee members, and keeping the cabinet informed of emerging areas of strategic focus as well. For each of these points along the way, they included a campus-wide kickoff event, a future summit session, and these were designed to just get the campus members involved in discussing trends in higher education, as well as trends in your local community around, to make sure that you're looking up, looking out, looking in, and that all of those different viewpoints and needs are centered in the conversations that drive the future of the college's work. We also used surveys to elicit further input. Students were represented and involved in workshops and surveys, including in the most recent Board of Trustees workshop on mission and vision, which you recall that we did recently with you. The final stages now include a community feedback session, which is actually just wrapping up today. This Board of Trustees review period with the intention of returning to the June meeting with an intention to vote on the plan at that point in time. Central to all of the planning work with the college's mission and vision statements, which even with the most recent workshop, where we drew from you through those conversations, a lot of really nice insights into the college's central purpose. So through those conversations, through reflections on the mission and purpose of the college, again, those as well as the college's values, kind of always driving, making sure that what we're thinking about in terms of strategic actions for the college, we're informed and resting on the cultural fabric of the institution as well. So of course, we worked hard to demonstrate each of these and really continue to foster the culture of the college through our process.
So hopefully this is looking familiar to you now, being maybe the second or third time seeing our student experience statement, but we're really proud of this and use this throughout the process to really ground ourselves in the student experience and making sure we're holding that center to our conversations and the planning work that we're doing. This event was one of the first things that we did. It was a really successful and inclusive process that consisted of workshops with students and employees, survey feedback, got a lot of feedback through surveys, over 300 responses, including 170 responses from students. So they really took the time to react to this and participate in that process and conversation about their experience. And so we're just reminding you that of this final student experience statement with some of these, the major points of focusing on a welcoming environment, our technologies, the educational and co-curricular experiences, that inclusive community, and of course, our approachable and caring instructors and staff. And that experience, of course, can't come to fruition without the support and commitment by JJC's faculty, staff, and administration, committing to accessible, integrated, and collaborative services, being flexible in course delivery and support resources, serving as ambassadors and mentors. That may be those unspoken roles that they hold, and of course, delivering those experiential and hands-on activities. Those conversations were really pivotal to moving us into talking about our strategies and objectives that we'll go over with you next. So again, we have 5 strategy areas, and under each strategy, a number of measurable objectives. So our first one about valuing diversity and cultivating belonging. You can see the objectives here on your screen and in front of you. But for this one, what I can say is we really look to our data to identify our student population and what our local population might need in terms of bringing them into JJC to engage in those opportunities. Looking at unique student needs, whether it's for that growing Hispanic and Latino population or the needs involved with serving students with diverse abilities. We're also looking at the community in terms of the alumni and know how pivotal they can be to the success of the college. And so we address them here. Again, and all turning back to that data and looking at gaps in representation and access really to the college for those communities. So in this strategy, what we'll be talking about in the action planning phase, which Kirsten will talk about towards the end of our presentation, are things like working on anything identified in the ADA audit, working on additional language translations or scholarship opportunities that might align with these diversity and belonging goals, and collaborations with diverse business owners and entrepreneurs in the area. And I was reflecting on your conversation from a couple weeks ago, and I really think that your ideas to be known more and better throughout the community. I think this strategy and objectives can help to serve that, in addition to supporting those students with diverse abilities and the growing Hispanic and Latino population. So our next strategy is craft an intentional student life cycle. And so this one was really about thinking about those pathways into the college and getting students in and started really strong. We want to get them enrolled and make sure that they stay here to achieve the goals that they had in their initial intent for coming to the college. In this strategy and objectives, we address advising and academic planning. And we're also looking to the data to address, again, those equity gaps and persistence, especially. This strategy also guides the college to working on mental health services and those graduation and transfer outcomes. So again, in our action plans, we might dig deeper and more specific in projects around industry and internship partnerships, potentially a one-stop model design and planning for that. EAP course changes, among other projects that the departments and divisions have kind of on their radar and to-do list. From you, I think this aligns when you were talking about a couple weeks ago about making sure we get students in the door and get them to their next step, kind of helping them to develop their own game plan and follow that game plan, and also your concerns for addressing mental health needs.
The third strategy is trying to capture the interest in growing. So growing our possibilities. What does that look like for JJC at this point? Certainly focus on increasing the 12 by 12 by 12, that those dual credit students, looking also at increasing flexibility. So kind of growing options for students to increase their pathways to completion. So that building on the strengths that come out of more interest in online learning, as well as more capacity for delivering those hybrid learning environments and online course schedules and whatnot. So the iCampus initiative at JJC within academic affairs, really looking at how can we make sure that students have not just choices in their course schedule for what they want to learn, but how they can come to class and have some flexibility in getting to the stage or to the end of that certificate or program. Also looking at growing high impact practices. So there's so much research behind a number of different types of activities that colleges can really integrate in. The one that that your colleagues on campus really want to focus on first in this area is the first year experiences. So there's so much research in getting students that kind of cemented in and how that sets them up for success later on. So you really have to get that foundation right. So paying some much needed attention to this stage of the student's experience there. Also looking at corporate training programs and the number of enrollees in those programs. And looking too at the transition programs. I even heard earlier in the remarks from the new trustees about looking at GED opportunities, how to get into Joliet Junior College when you're not quite ready yet for the credit bearing work, but you need that bridge. And so the bridge is here through adult basic ed, through ESL courses, through GEDs. And so really looking at the students in there, what happens in those classes, but then doing the work to transition them into credit bearing programs too. There's a lot that goes into that work and into this strategy here. And we heard a lot during the community listening sessions as well. There's a thread of that through a number of these objectives, looking at expanding community learning experiences through internships and service learning opportunities on and off campus. So again, kind of like Samantha was saying, there's a lot of echoes here from the conversations that we were having about the mission and vision and a lot of those activities that you all were interested in seeing. The fourth strategy, strengthen from within, really looking at that employee experience. This is a nod to the conversations that we were having about the student experience and wanting to put some really clear aspirations into that experience. The same thing was being asked for employees. So what this is captured in this statement is looking at ensuring a supportive and collaborative work environment to retain and develop diverse and talented employees. Doing that through things that affect the employee experience overall, looking at career advancement, digging into employee separation, what happens there, and with some clear metrics for points of looking at decreasing rates there. And generally an organizational assessment to examine those departmental roles and structures, kind of people with the right places doing the right things, right resources, and being compensated in the right ways. The action plans here will likely take the shape of professional development program, kind of a comprehensive suite, nodding to also the work that is in the strategies ahead. People have to know how and be able to upskill within the institution to be able to deliver the activities and the work that drives the strategies that we're talking about too, from diversity work to sometimes it's related to reorganizations or that kind of just naturally happen over an institution or with folks leaving and coming into new roles for all sorts of reasons, making sure that succession planning and recruitment and retention strategies are in place here. And the last, the fifth and final strategy in the plan is maximize the infrastructure. So here looking at JJC's financial, physical, and technological resources. all being geared to support innovation, student success, and overall institutional effectiveness. The emphasis here being on modernizing and continuing to have a modern campus through the technology that's in the classroom as well as in employee workspaces, looking at successful implementation and adoption of the full ERP modules, continuing efforts to remain fiscally stable and healthy, and adding into that partnerships and grants. Really looking at the space utilization, getting some student input into that to understand where learners want to be at your different sites, how students use it. When we were talking about iCampus earlier, having those flexible paths to completion, what does that then do to the college's footprint and utilization of your spaces for workers and for students? And then lastly, ensuring institutional systems are secure and that vulnerabilities are decreased. There's a lot of good work that went into the plan and a lot of good work that will come out as it's launched and we've reached the implementation stage. In the mission and vision conversation a couple of weeks ago with you all, there was definitely some requests for wanting to understand what are the metrics, what are the reports, how do we know that we're successful in certain areas? So no good plan is put into place without a really good implementation design that includes moments of reporting out, making sure that all of these objectives are measurable, and refining the yearly action plans based on those improvements that you see. So the model here is really looking at developing baselines. If there isn't baseline data here, using the first year of the plan to be able to gather that information and then building upon that over the year and over the course of the plan. So I will pause at this point. There's a lot of good work done here, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Farmer to help us guide through any comments and questions that there may be.
Very good. Thank you so much. So board members, again, do you have any questions regarding this phase of the strategic plan?
I will ask them, starting with Ms. Ellis, if you'd like to ask any questions.
Do you mind coming back to me?
Sure. Mr. Mahalik.
No questions for me this time.
No questions for me.
I do. I thought when we were going through this that we were talking about changing or adding or subtracting some things from the mission statement and the vision, but I see it the same. Were we not with the intention of looking at that?
We will come back to the mission statement because in my email to the board, I shared some information with all of you that we really want to gather the feedback from the college community as well. We heard some really clear, great information from the board. For example, maybe utilizing instead of first, best. I remember that. And then also I remember Vice Chair Morales making a comment about, what about instead of using pathway, purpose. Purpose, yes, purpose. So that's something that we want to share with the college community collectively.
Okay, that's
and we will gather that feedback.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Our business cards, it shows our mission and our
Yes.
vision. And when I was comparing and looking, it still showed the same. And I thought that's what we had talked about.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Lee.
No question.
Trustee Harris.
No questions.
Coming back to.
No questions.
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farmer.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, team.
1.2.3, westward expansion.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm stretching right now, getting ready for all this. Really exciting stuff. And Dr. Farmer won't give herself some kudos, but just want to offer Dr. Farmer kudos for her leadership once again and in what, will be the artifact of a very collaborative, inclusive process and really an artifact of that represents our shared vision for the future of JJC and some of our key priorities. So I'm stretching because, this is just a very exciting moment. And I think it's an exciting moment in the history of JJC, but it's also an exciting moment for the students on the western side of our district. And so I want to offer just a few thoughts and take a moment to thank our partners for their time and their patience today. As you take a look at the first row there right behind the cabinet, they have cities to run. They have hospitals to run. They have chambers of commerce to run. They have nuclear power plants. Hopefully those are going okay, Sharon. They are captains of industry out west, and just want to thank them so much for their presence and their time. As many of you know, I'm out and about quite a bit, meeting with a lot of different people, taking a lot of different meetings in Will, Grundy, and the other 5 counties we serve. And it became very clear to me early on that how we're serving the western edge of our district in Grundy and Morris did not necessarily align with all of the activity represented by these fine people who've taken time out of their day. It's been a real pleasure and honor to get to know each one of them, to see the western edge of our district through their eyes, whether through the school districts, through the chambers of commerce, through the hospital, or through the city of Morris. So it's with great pride that I bring this to the board. And again, want to acknowledge the great work that Dr. Farmer did. When I came back from one of my meetings, I won't cite the specific individual's name, but he's a city of Morris mayor right now. I was really excited. And then further conversations with Christina, with Tom, with everyone on the western edge of our district led me to initiate a preliminary exploratory process. And that preliminary exploratory process was led by Julie Wilkinson with the city of Morris, was led by Yolanda Farmer in partnership to explore whether or not we'd make it to this presentation right here. So none of the presentation you're seeing today would be without the efforts of Dr. Farmer and Julie. And Dr. Farmer, can I just take a moment to acknowledge those who took time out of their schedule and ask them to stand? So first we've got Chris Brown, the mayor of Morris. Will you stand and be recognized? Chris, thank you. We've got Lance Copes, the executive director of the Grundy County Area Vocational Center, GAVC. Tom Dome, the president and CEO of Morris Hospital and Healthcare Centers. And their reach extends here. They've got a location right across the street, FYI. We've got Christina Van Yperen, president and CEO of Grundy County Chamber of Commerce. I see Sharon Johnson here, the manager of local government affairs of Constellation Energy. Sharon, thank you. Did I say Julie's name? Is Julie hiding? Oh, Julie Wilkinson with the city of Morris. And Monica Schild, is Monica here representing the Grundy Area Development Council and representing Nancy Norton, the president and CEO of GEDC. So without further ado, Dr. Farmer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Numuo. And once again, I want to echo Dr. Numuo's excitement about this wonderful opportunity for the college. If you notice during the strategic plan presentation, we talked about growth opportunities, right? So every single initiative that we will move forward to the board will align with the strategic plan. So I'm extremely excited that Dr. Numuo will allow me this opportunity to lead this significant initiative for the college, which we refer to as westward expansion. So before I jump into the presentation, I just want to remind everyone about Dr. Numuo. I know it's the photo, we love the photo, about Dr. Numuo and his vision as the president. When he was hired, right away, we knew he had, of course, positive energy. He's a strategic thinker, he's a visionary, and we really appreciate that energy. But one thing that he talked about to all of us, the president's cabinet, including the college community, is the importance of institutional growth. And for him, if I can define that, it's just not about student enrollment, correct, Dr. Numuo? It's about growth in all of our programs, our services, westward expansion. I'm going to continue to use that language, but providing that opportunity for all of our students. And we are extremely excited about that. But what I also appreciate about Dr. Numuo is just his concept about community consciousness and being conscious of what we need within the community. What we appreciate about him is that he understands the needs of the community really quickly. He's only been with us for a short period of time, but he strives to really provide that opportunity, just not from an economic standpoint, but from workforce and also education. And last but not least, you've heard him say this time after time. Every single initiative, and I'm looking at him, but he's trying to look away. This is this interesting dynamic we have, right? So he continues to talk about Joliet Junior College being deeply embedded in its community. And we believe that. It's our promise to our students and our partners. So I really appreciate that he's provided this vision and for us to really think about westward expansion and how we can continue to support our students. Again, I've already mentioned the importance of being embedded in our strategic plan. Once again, growing our possibilities, westward expansion is aligned with that. Maximizing the infrastructure, it aligns with that as well. Valuing diversity and cultivating relationships, I can go on and on about that as well. So every initiative that we will move forward and bring to the board will be aligned with the strategic plan. So board members, you know this information, you know that we're a very comprehensive community college, serving over 700,000 residents, 7 counties. I can go on and on. Also 180 degrees and certificate, as well as comprehensive support services. We feel like a 4-year institution, right? But we are a community college. We are here for the people, which makes us very unique. So I just want to remind the board, especially some of the board members who have been here for some time, right? Trustee Broderick, Vice Chair Morales, Trustee Garcia-Guillen, and Trustee Mihalik. We made some significant investments, right? In terms of the infrastructure and the buildings. It was important for us to be very intentional in establishing our footprint within Joliet Junior College District. And we've made some smart investments. So I just wanted to highlight, just take a moment and look at all the buildings and facilities that we've invested in since 1993. Just take a moment. And once again, additional investments, great investments to really support just not our workforce, our students, and also the district. So let me talk about this wonderful opportunity that we're referring to as westward expansion. If you don't know about the Grundy County, let me tell you, I've been so impressed with the uniqueness of this county. If you did not know, there are over 58,000 residents that reside in Grundy County. The population grew nearly 5%, fourth of the 102 counties. Did you know that? I didn't know all of that. It's just fascinating. What's more important to me, from 2016 to 2021, jobs increased by 10%, outpacing the national norm. Very promising, growing county. And more importantly, it's a very strategic location. If you did not know, we are already positioned at Moores Education Center. I always say the city of Moores is a gem, the hidden gem, beautiful city. But again, wonderful opportunities for Grundy. It has over 1.5 million labor force within 45 minutes. Most of us have traveled I-80, right? Some of you don't like I-80. I don't like I-80, but it's I-80. Route 47, 72,000 vehicles per day. Did you know that? Connecting from I-39 to I-88, 33,000 vehicles per day. Significant growth in that area. And again, high concentration of energy and chemical manufacturing facilities, and we know that already. Grundy County, in terms of the labor market, 25,000. And it continues to grow. Significant facilities, businesses, Morris Hospital, right, Tom? Okay, you have about 1,800 individuals that work at Morris. I hope I have my... Thank you. You stole my thunder. Yes, absolutely. The YMCA, if you did not know, they're breaking ground in Moores in 3 weeks. Spoke with Katie about that. Costco's, that number stands at 413 employees. Again, a wonderful growth opportunity for Grundy. I can go on and speak about this. One important aspect that I want to share with you as well, that local employers constantly rank the Grundy workforce higher than the Midwest, a national average in terms of key characteristics, in terms of availability, quality, stability, productivity. It's amazing. So I just want to remind the board members, and most of you know this already, but I would encourage you to take a tour, take a look at the Morris Education Center. We have hardworking, dedicated staff members that work in that space, but I believe we can do better for our students, for the workforce, and for the community. And just to highlight really quickly, we do offer many majors in the Grundy County. Most of our students that attend the Morris Education Center attend because they want to complete their general education courses. So Dr. Namua already mentioned this. This has been a journey for Julie and I. We've already started working on some of the initial steps after a fabulous conversation with the mayor. And Dr. Namua, I won't even share that story, but he came back so excited after the meeting with Mayor Brown. And so I want Julie to kind of take us through this timeline in terms of our exploration. Julie?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Julie Wilkinson. I am the Business Development Director for the City of Morris. It's an honor to be here this evening to speak to your board and to Dr. Namuo and to share a bit about the exploration that we've done together. I want to just highlight some key points here along the timeline. Just kind of stepping back, you can see this has really been an intentional process. It's been a process that has ebbed and flowed. It's involved our teams coming together, leadership teams. It's involved bringing stakeholders to the table, which I'll talk about in a bit. And then it's involved a lot of reflection and beginning to explore with outside partners of what this could begin to look like. So, I think it's no coincidence that it was the day after my birthday that Dr. Namuo and Mayor Chris Brown came together, had this conversation, and the vision was set. Very exciting. That was in August of 2022. The leaders of JJC came out to the Morris campus soon after, began to really assess and dive in and to learn, what's happening in this facility and what are the opportunities here. And I have to say the voices around the table at the Morris Leadership Center have guided a lot of our conversation as well and been a tremendous resource. So you can see as we moved through the fall, we brought a team here to explore, to begin to talk, to begin to discuss collaborations and to learn from one another. And that continued through the winter months until we brought some additional stakeholders to the table. Those conversations began in February. And again, I'll highlight those in detail in a moment. And every step of the way, we have all had our eyes wide open and kind of stood back and said, what could this be? And as everyone came to the table, they affirmed what we thought it could be. And I think that that's something very, very exciting. It was especially exciting in March, just a few months ago. And I think you've maybe gotten a little flair for the dynamism of our city mayor, who is not afraid to talk about big ideas and share vision. And so you all were kind to invite city leaders when the governor visited JJC here in March. And when our mayor had about 15 seconds of conversational time with him, he said, "We want to work with JJC to expand our presence in Morris, and I think you should be a part of it." And it got his attention. And a few hours later, the governor's office called City Hall in Morris and said, "Tell me more." Nice. So again, that validation, that affirmation of there's a neat partnership forming here. There's synergy. This is a situation where 1 + 1 = 3. And we're excited to unveil a bit more about what that could be. So we we stepped back and said, if we needed to take a pulse from some key stakeholders, who might those be? So the first one I want to talk to you about, the executive director, Lance Copes, is in the room. Lance has been with the Grundy Area Vocational Center for a number of years, and under his leadership, that program has grown tremendously. This is a key program out in Grundy County, and it's a longtime partner for Joliet Junior College. The GAVC is now serving its third generation of students that have gone through their programs, and it only continues to expand. When we talked with Lance, and I'm sure he would be happy to share more, answer any questions, of course, as things move along, we ask about the primary fields that they serve. And you can see here, health and medical, again, no surprise. You can see construction trades, which has a long history in Grundy County and contributes to that high median income that Dr. Farmer mentioned earlier. It's engineering, criminal justice, culinary arts. These are the primary areas that students are interested in, and those continue to fill year after year. Some of the demands that they're not able to meet as well as they are in these other areas are things like air traffic control, aviation mechanic, and locomotive mechanic. And it's not because of lack of interest for the students. It's lack of places to place the students so that they can learn through these programs, develop internships, and come out with the skills that they need. Some of the skill set gaps that Lance shared with us were computer literacy. You know, there's a generation trained on Microsoft and now a generation trained on Google, and we're seeing those gaps in the workplace. Training and manufacturing skills, some of the demands of the new logistics facilities, which again, we'll touch on. It's like this all just aligned. Some of those we're not totally prepared to meet yet, and the corporations themselves are providing the training. Construction, auto and diesel mechanic, that soft skills training, and that's probably not a surprise to the folks in this room, certainly an area of opportunity. Some interesting tidbits about the GAVC, and again, why this is such a significant voice to be a part of the conversation, is that they currently serve 800 students, and they're on pace to serve 1,000 by next year. So the demands continue to grow. And that creates a need for physical space for the facility as well, which was interesting and unexpected, but again, plays into this conversation. So moving ahead to sort of the other continuum of the labor force, we brought Procter & Gamble to the table. Now, Procter & Gamble opened their facility in Morris at the end of 2022. This is a 1.34 million square foot facility, state-of-the-art fulfillment center. It's one of only 7 in the country. And this center is so neat, it's so high tech, and it offers such versatility in order fulfillment that they actually have a reduced carbon footprint because of the way that they can load and stack and get products out in a much more efficient way. So that this is really a state-of-the-art, cutting-edge employer that came to the table. And they echoed much of what Lance Cope said to us. They talked about computer literacy. They talked about skill set gaps, logistics, supply chain, PCIS, electrical safety, specific programs with growing demands as they ramp up their facility from 250 employees to 500 when they're at their full capacity. They have a high retention rate among their workforce. So this is not your typical warehouse. More than 80% is their retention rate right now. And they have a really incredible internal development program. Dr. Gray joined us for this conversation, and I know she was just amazed at the things they're doing to grow and develop professionals. They hire for the initial skills, and then they train for what they need. And we know there are some opportunities there. And I think it was a wise choice to invite them to the table as we expand this conversation. So now I'll turn it back over to Dr. Farmer. And of course, at any point, happy to answer questions, but hope that the breadth of conversations that we had with two employers, in a sense, on two very different ends of the spectrum, validate the need and also the potential, which I think is the key part in Grundy County and in Morris specifically as we prepare to partner.
So once again, Julie has been the best partner. I think we spent a lot of time together constantly just moving forward this major initiative for the college. And so Dr. Namua made it very clear that as we move forward with this project, we want to invite others to the table. We want them to have a voice at the table. And so now I'm happy, Dr. Namua, to introduce the Westward Expansion Exploratory Committee. These individuals sitting here today, including Dr. Gray, Karen Kissel, Pat Van Dyne, and I believe, and just make sure I'm not missing anyone, I believe that's it from the JJC community. So Dr. Namuo, anything else that you would like to share before I move on to the next slide?
Just that so the board's aware, I've tasked this group, today we're revealing this exploratory committee to you all and to the college community for the very first time. So I've tasked them to bring back 3 options for what an increased presence in Morris and or Grundy County, Grundy and or Morris in 4 months, right? So they're going to have that back to me in 4 months. So just want to add that. And I think we're going to have some members of the exploratory committee.
That's correct, Dr.
Does Mayor
Namuo.
Brown know there's no karaoke here?
Yes, I hope so.
And are we allowing him
maybe later?
some time on the microphone?
Maybe later.
Anyway?
Maybe later.
Okay, so Dr. Farmer, who might you have represent the committee?
Yes, at this time, I would like to invite Mayor Chris Brown.
Oh, no. Oh.
Our judo person.
Oh, wow. To say the least, I am more than ecstatic to be here tonight. We have been waiting patiently and working through this for this evening to be able to talk to you all tonight about this. So I'm not going to take a lot of time, but the few things that I will say, I have 3 main points I want to at least express to everybody. One, I thought I had one of the best teams in the world at City Hall, but I got to tell you, the team right here that we've been working with here at JJC, with Dr. Namuo leading them, with Dr. Farmer and Dr. Gray, I'm telling you, you guys should be very proud of what's going on here right now. It's unbelievable, and I couldn't say enough. So these guys have become like my family in a lot of instances, and I absolutely love them all. So that's the first thing I just truly want to say, and this has been an enjoyable experience no matter what direction we decide to go. So it's been a learning process, and we love it. But the other couple things I want to talk about is what's happening in Morris, and then how partnerships work and how I view them. There's a lot of things happening in Morris, as people may or may not know. In the last 2 years that I've been there, we've received over $18 million in grants. A couple to note is $2 million for an expansion for a new water treatment facility in the north side of 80. And the big thing that we're really ecstatic about is a $12 million grant that we received from the state of Illinois to expand and do a crosswind runway at our airport. We are just ecstatic about that. We have a lot of construction going on right now in Morris that we probably haven't seen in the last 20 to 30 years. We have a brand new Y that's breaking ground at the end of the month. We have a fire department that is breaking ground and putting a new building across from City Hall. And more importantly, we have a new water tower going up. So we're ecstatic about what's happening in Morris. Costco, on the other hand, too, just bought an additional 200 acres to the north where they're going to expand. We just introduced a parks plan where we're going to start redoing all the parks. And on top of that, received a $600,000 OSLED grant to redo our West Side Park, which is adjoining YMCA. I mean, I could go on and on about all that, but let me get to the important part. It's all about relationships, right? And one of the things I tell staff all the time is we want good partners. And we strive for that every day, whether it's our developers, whether it's our business owners, whether it's just people that we want to work with, in City Hall. And I can tell you right from day one, now, I've been a little bit associated with this university over the past few years, so I probably have a little inside track sometimes with things, but I'm going to tell you right now, we could not find a better partner if I could have flipped a coin and did the best thing possible than to find what we got right here. I mean, it is unbelievable. I mean, I can't say enough, guys. And when you find the right partners to do things, you will do and go till the ends of the earth and die for those people. And that's how I feel. And that's how we view partnerships in Morris. I mean, I even wore my socks. And
So, your purple tie.
But anyway, I don't want to take any more of your time, but I just really appreciate your consideration. And as we move forward, and if there's anything we can do to be helpful, we are here. We are with you. You are with us, and we are in this together. So thank you all so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person I would like to invite to the podium, Christina, the president and CEO of the Grundy County Chamber of Commerce.
Way shorter than Chris. Sorry about that. Hello, everybody. I'm Christina Van Yperen. I'm the president and CEO of the Grundy County Chamber of Commerce. And I have been in this position for about 8 years. Before that, I was a journalist for the Joliet Herald and the Morris Herald News for 10 to 15 years before that. So Grundy County has been my beat and my workplace and my home now for a very long time. And it's my heart. So through the years, I've witnessed JJC and Grundy County's partnerships in numerous ways, and they've been incredibly strong. There's, of course, the Morris Education Center, which has provided local access of classes and resources to our community. The creation of the OET program, led by Senator Rezin, several years ago, worked with numerous Grundy County partners, such as the GEDC, Constellation, Lyondell-Basell, and the Grundy Area Vocational Center. And of course, there's the Grundy Workforce Services, which does amazing work for our dislocated workers and those finding their way. The westward expansion will build on these partnerships and will allow Grundy County families so many more ways for our western communities to get to the path to their own successes. Mm-hmm. The visibility and reach this project will have is going to build on Morris's recent momentum that Mayor Brown and Julie had pointed out, as well as provide workforce opportunities that will be life-changing for the students, families, and our communities as a whole. At Dr. Namuo's State of the College address, he mentioned that everyone has a JJC story. And during that speech, I thought to myself, I don't know if I have a JJC story. And then I was like, are you kidding me? Of course I have a JJC story. So I did not graduate from JJC. I don't have a degree from here. But when I was getting married, my husband and I decided we were going to go to Italy for our honeymoon. My grandmother was an immigrant from there. She came in the 40s. She was in her young 20s, and it was not the best of circumstances. She was in an arranged marriage, and her life was pretty rough there and here. So she never went back. And those roots were completely disconnected. And so we decided for our honeymoon, we were going to go back and we were going to reconnect with my family. And I couldn't speak a lick of it. So I looked up a couple of classes here and I started taking them. And so what JJC did for me was not only teach me how to say vino, so I could order it appropriately in Italy, but it offered me the opportunity to be able to talk to my relatives and to reconnect with generations of family in their language. I came back with photos that nobody in my family had ever seen. I had a relative that was an author there that I could bring books home and share with my family. And 10 years later, we continue to be in touch. And I look forward to bringing the next generation, my children there, to walk the streets that my grandmother did. And JJC gave that to me. So I did have a story and it took me a minute to think about it and I couldn't believe it. So I hope that you enjoyed that and that you can share that in the future. Thank you. Sorry, I got a little off tangent there talking about my family. Appreciate that. This new westward expansion will make it easier for Grundy County residents and beyond to create their own experiences and their own JJC stories. I'm excited and proud to know that in the very near future, my community and my children may have this opportunity right in their backyard. So thank you for prioritizing the western part of our district and congratulations to all of you in taking the first steps in this vision. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then finally, I'm not sure if Tom is available to make a few comments, please.
Okay.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Dome, as you know, the president CEO of Morris. I've been there for 7 years. It's an awesome facility and a wonderful community. We've been a longtime partner with JJC with all the programs that you provide here and our working relationship. And I couldn't be more excited for what's yet to come with the westward expansion. So here's my JJC story. I wasn't a student here, but I actually taught here as an adjunct faculty member in the business department about 10 years ago. I was on staff for 5 years and I've been impressed with the organization ever since, and that's continued now in my work at the hospital. I probably should tell you a little bit about the hospital because, believe it or not, there's a whole lot of people that don't even know that there's a community hospital in Morris, Illinois. Morris, Illinois, our community hospital is an 89-bed inpatient hospital, but we're far more than just a hospital. We have a total of 27 locations throughout Grundy County. We go as far north as Newark, as far south as Dwight, far east as Joliet, and as far west as Ottawa. So we have a very large footprint, just like the community college does. We need highly trained, highly skilled workforce. Community colleges and community hospitals have to partner together to provide us with that high quality individual that will work for us. Morris Hospital continues to further our mission by developing and fostering these strong partnerships. We're a strong partner with the YMCA that you just spoke of. We're certainly embedded in our community. Same is true with our relationship with JJC. I'd like to thank JJC and their partnership and their long-term commitment to Morris Hospital and our community for providing us with those well-educated, well-trained workers, those employees. I'd like to thank our president and Dr. Farmer for really inviting me to participate in this whole process, and the Western Expansion Committee. I'm just so excited to do that. And really more so to celebrate your vision. We all look for visionaries, and there is a whole lot of activity, as Mayor Brown talked about, a whole lot of potential in the western edges of your service area. We couldn't be more pleased that you're considering a much bigger footprint out there. With the shortage of healthcare workers nationwide, and this is a nationwide issue, there's a huge need, right, for new and emerging healthcare workers, and community colleges, specifically JJC, play a vital role in educating our future workforce. We couldn't do it without you. We couldn't staff our facilities without you. I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees for your support of the college's Western expansion, bringing high quality education directly to our community. That's a key feature, right? Eliminating some of the barriers and some of the obstacles for the students who are currently living in Grundy County to get the education they need right in their own community. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
So Dr. Namuo, that concludes Julie and I's presentation for this evening.
Again, thank you, Dr. Farmer, for your leadership. Julie, thank you for your leadership. To Chris, to Lance, to Julie, to Sharon, to Monica, to Tom, to Christina, and the other members of the exploratory committee who weren't able to join us tonight, and to the team internally who will participate. We look forward to your work in just a few months. And Mr. Chair, before I yield back, I want to take the opportunity to they've got hospitals to run, chambers to run, they've got school districts to run. So at this point I do, so it's not so awkward, invite them to give them the opportunity to go do those things. And thank you so much for being here.
May I say thanks for all your hard work too. We're very excited. For my family, at least in the western suburbs or in Minooka, it would be great to see my kid go into a JJC site in Minooka. So
Right? Yeah.
Or Morris.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They sat long enough through our meeting, though they're ready to go.
Dr. Farmer, I know there was a lot of data that was shared with us tonight. Is it possible for the board to ask you questions regarding the expansion only and not all the other presentations?
Sure, absolutely.
Starting with Trustee Harris, do you have any questions regarding the westward expansion?
I don't.
Trustee Lee?
Right now?
Trustee Broderick?
I do. In regards to it, I know you said there was 3 options that are coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And that would probably mean land and building. And that's what I would think that's going to be part of this westward movement, instead of taking the westward spot that we have right now, since we're paying quite a bit of money for that little space, and it seems like we have to grow. So we would then have visions of land proposals that we would see or land donations I'm hoping that we would see.
That's correct.
Great, thank you.
No further questions. Thank you.
Not a question, but a comment. I look forward to hearing more detail in October.
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
I don't have any questions, but as I said when everyone was beginning to leave, I have 2 young kids and I live in Manuka, so on the western side, so I'd like to see something for opportunity for them, so I really appreciate the work and effort that you guys put in, so.
Thank you.
Trustee Ellis?
I have no questions.
From there, we'll move on. 1.24, Faculty Union Report. Dr. Bob Marsink. A trooper for still being here 3 hours into a meeting.
Wouldn't leave for anything.
Till 8:30.
Well, actually, I was thinking, I wasn't going to say much, but now I'm thinking maybe I'd like to call up the PowerPoint on the strategic plan and go through it again, point by point. I have some. Just kidding, just kidding. She's timing me. She's Karen's timing. All right.
Good one.
All right, I better speak fast then. First, I would like to officially welcome Trustee Harris and Trustee Ellis to the board. And I also would like to not welcome, but congratulate Chairman Budzinski on his election as chair. And we look forward to working with you over the years. So all of you. So, couple of quick things, I promise. Let's see. Oh, I do want to say very briefly, Ryan made his proclamation earlier, earlier about the LGBTQ plus Pride Month. I'd like to throw the faculty support behind that. And because we know we live in a world right now where there's sadly a lot of ugly words being said and ugly actions being taken, and it's important for us to recognize all of our marginalized folks and support them. Let's see, one other thing. The other thing, big thing, is that I understand you had a meeting a little bit earlier, presented the tentative agreement. I understand the meeting went well, and we appreciate that. So what happens on our side, our now is that we move to presenting just what you received this evening to our members in the next couple of days. We have those all scheduled, and with the idea that next week we will actually, during the course of the week next week, we'll actually have our vote on the agreement. So we're very happy to hear that the meeting went well today. We know there's been there was a tremendous amount of work with the administration and our team, which acted as a team, and so I'm looking forward to meeting with our folks and giving them basically the same information you received this evening. So with that said, I do want to say one last thing. I'm sorry about this. Is the end of the semester, and we're all winding down. We have finals next week. We're all looking. Students are really looking forward to it. Well, they're actually looking forward to Friday, but the end of them. But I would say about this year, I felt like we got back to a real sense of normalcy on campus again this year. We have some more steps to take, but it was just so nice to be walking up and down the hallways and seeing students and going into classrooms and seeing students. Although we did that, I did that. There's much more of a sense of normalcy now in the hallways and the classrooms, and I know it's been incredibly difficult. Aisha will attest to this, for students who had to go through high school, the last couple of years of high school remotely, etc. But I think we're here for them. We have support services here for them, and we think we're coming out of the darkness. So I'm really happy about that. And we all look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at commencement next week, which is one of my favorite events because what I love about commencement is as you walk around, you see so many folks who are dressed to the nines and so proud of their kids, and rightfully so. And I know I was a first generation college graduate from my family, and I know there are a lot of students out there who are the same. So it's a great moment, and anybody who can be there should be. So thank you, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, she's here. Oh, there she is. 1.25 Adjunct Faculty Union Report from Ms. Laurel Discow.
Good evening. I'll be brief. It's late. I do want to congratulate the new board leadership team, Chair Budzinski and Trustee Morales and Garcia again. I appreciate your service, all of your service, but we have a change in leadership. Welcome Trustee Harris to the board and Student Trustee Ellis. It's very good to see both of you, and I look forward to working with everybody. Much of what Bob said, I would say as well. You know, we're all looking forward to the end of the semester. I was thinking earlier today that 3 years ago we were all on lockdown at this time, and it's taken us this long really to get back here. And I feel really good about that, and I'm looking forward. This westward expansion sounds absolutely amazing. I really wasn't in the loop with that at all, but it just sounds like an incredible opportunity both for the college and the communities that are involved. So we're looking forward to seeing how that impacts everyone. And with that, I will stop and say good evening and thanks for the opportunity for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
1.3.1 Approval of minutes for the special meeting held on April 5th, 2023. I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Budzinski?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
1.3.2 Approval of minutes for the regular meeting held on April 12th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Budzinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
1.3.3 Approval of minutes for the special meeting held on April 26th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Budzinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
1.4 Approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Lee, Trustee Garcia.
Lee, who's it? Okay. Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Budzinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Approval of consent agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
I'd like several items pulled.
Yes.
Item 3.1, 3.2.1, 3.2.5. And I ask that 3.4 of page 16 be pulled and delayed for next month or held for next month for more information. That's on the statement of healthcare.
We vote on this now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to vote on the consent agenda? Okay, Michelle Lee. Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Lee. Trustee Garcia Guillen.
Yes.
Trustee Broderick.
Yes.
Trustee Ellis.
Yes.
Trustee Harris.
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski.
Yes.
Motion carries.
3.1. Trustee Broderick?
Need a motion in a
Motion.
second.
A motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Ready?
Yes.
The reason I'm bringing this one up is, and I've talked to Dr. Namuo about it, I saw many things in regards to the athletic, the trips that they were taking and the use of vehicles and all that. I'm bringing this as a concern for the budget, that we look at the possibility of looking if there's more funds needed for the budget, because that trip alone to Plano, Texas was probably over $15,000. And I know that we had talked and discussed about the foundation's contributions when they do the golf outing, but it would be nice for us to see if there's more funds needed for the athletics. And then also too, I see all of the sponsorships we do, and I did bring this to Dr. Namuo's attention, that's why I'm pulling it, so that we can get an accurate knowledge ahead of time, so we know that we don't have to keep asking for information about festivals or things that the trustees can attend, whether it be in Dr. Namuo's weekly month letter, or in some type of format that we get that shows all of the activities, so that Karen can say, which ones do you want to go to, and the deadlines, because we have quite a bit of funds that were already put out for things, but I know there's more things coming that I had sent you about the Frankfurt Fall Festival, and we missed the New Lenox loyalty date, so I'm asking that we know ahead of time. And that's why I asked the bills to be pulled, so that we could address that, because there's a lot of sponsorships that we've got in here. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Broderick.
Motion to approve.
We're ready to approve. We already have.
Been a motion.
Yeah, we've got one. Okay. Trustee Garcia Guillen.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Trustee Broderick.
Yes.
Trustee Ellis.
Yes.
Trustee Harris.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik.
Yes.
Trustee Morales.
Yes.
Oh, I already called you. Trustee Bazinski.
Yes.
Motion carried.
3.2.1, bid exterior wall facade repairs rebid.
So moved. Second.
The question and concern I have is, I'm looking at two bids, and they're extremely far apart. We have one for 99 and one for 295. I don't see an explanation of what the differential would be, because it concerns me that there's such a big difference. Is there anyone that can give us some?
I think
Feedback on it?
they're the same, aren't they, Pat? You want to come up?
Trustee Broderick, thank you for your question.
Whenever we bid a project, who's going to submit, right? So sometimes we get 20 people. So when the vendors are out there and they see this, sometimes they see it as opportunity, and so they'll throw out a number, just because, oh, hey, it's the only one they got. It's the only one they have, and so we're going to throw out a number and see if it sticks. So 9 out of 10 times, that's the biggest discrepancy when you only have 1 or 2 bids. It isn't because the scope of work is different.
So could you just, so that I don't have to ask this question again when these things come up, can you just put down there the scope of work was the same, just?
Oh, when we bid, the scope of work is the same. And so then afterwards, when we select whoever the lowest responsible bidder is, we do a post-bid review. We make sure that all the scope is met within the post-bid review before we ever would award.
Okay, because I'm just looking at over $200,000 difference, which was huge in my mind.
It happens. Yeah.
If the scope of work is not met, they throw them out immediately. So
correct.
On the bid, so.
Okay, so you would have thrown them out then.
Yeah.
So if it's coming to you, it is the lowest responsible bidder, and we have already reviewed the scope of work, and they meet the demands of the scope.
Plus, our committee likes to go high and then come in low.
I'm just asking. I mean, I'm looking at a $200.
Yeah,
difference.
Well, absolutely. This is budgeted $150,000 and in our plan and it came in at 99,000, right? So.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Aaron, can you call the vote?
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Buzinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 3.2.5, Student Technology Help Desk Solution. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
My question and concern is, you have one that's given us the contract bid of 44.5, but I don't know what AnswerNet or One Support did. How much of a difference was there for us? Dollar amounts, as we've brought up before. Is there any way that you can give us the dollar amounts of the competitors that we're not recommending, just so we get an idea of what the scope of it is?
Trustee Broderick, thank you for your question. So I'm going to invite either Dr. Gray or Matt Stevenson to comment on this one.
I'm going to defer this one to Matt.
Okay. He thought he was getting away with it. He was, one step toward the podium. He was hopeful. Thanks, Matt.
I don't have that information with me, but we can get it to you. So,
That would
yeah.
be great, only because it's nice to see what the comparisons are.
Yeah.
When we're looking at other numbers and we see all numbers, we're all kind of number crunchers and we like to see those.
Yeah,
Or at
no,
least
I
do,
got
I'll
you.
say that.
Yeah, so we can get that. Would you like me just to, we'll get it to Karen and
Give it to
get
Karen and
you guys?
Karen can give it to me.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Or give it to the whole board.
Absolutely.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
no problem.
Matt.
Karen, if you could call the vote.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Buzinski?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Move down to item 3.6, Board of Trustees.
3.4 was the last one that was pulled by.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3.4. Yep, I'm sorry.
3.4.
And my request was for a.
Oh, we need a motion.
No, I know.
So moved.
Second.
My request was to delay it till next month so that we have more information can be provided.
And Trustee Broderick, thank you for that. I want to ask either Judy or Karen Kissel to respond and specifically related to the consequences of tabling this to next month.
I'll actually defer to Karen. I believe that this is just a report. It isn't approving payments as the report of bills was. So if there's more information needed between now and next month, we could take your questions and respond accordingly.
I think Dr. Farmer already knows where I'm heading with this.
Okay.
She and I have had discussions back and forth, and I did ask her and let her know that I was going to ask to have a table for next month.
Got it. I think there was some miscommunication there, Trustee Broderick, so our apologies for that. So considering that this is not an action item, then we can certainly follow up and provide that information offline.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. You say that, so we've got it on the agenda for approval to approve the report, the financial report. So it's a report of expenditures and revenues and existing data.
And I asked for page 16 only, which is the financial report on the healthcare. So technically, that was the only page I asked to have pulled out, which was page 16. I had no problem with everything else in that financial report.
Yeah, Carl, thanks for jumping in. Go ahead.
Yeah, page 16 is a self-insurance fund.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I don't know what is it about the report? I'm not challenging you, but this is data that exists. So.
And I have more questions of things that weren't included that I'm asking for.
Okay,
This is a report that I asked a month or two ago, and they were putting it together. So there was things that I had asked more of.
but is there anything in the report, I get it that you want additional information, is there anything in the report as it exists that you don't think is correct or that shouldn't be approved?
Well, I'm looking for the bottom lines that I'm looking at for the negativity. That's where I'm questioning things. And I'm asking if we have all the revenue and all the expenses listed out. Because they asked me for detail, which I gave to Dr. Farmer. Do you have a problem with it being held out and tabled?
No, I'm just trying to figure out what's going to change about that. Like that's the net result, right? So when you're approving the report, you're approving that reality, you're approving that fact. So if you want to know why that number's a negative, certainly understand that, but it's not going to change the fact that the number's a negative.
I think we can still approve the report and then still get her the information, right?
Right, that's what I'm trying to get at, is the data is the data. And for the purposes of the budget, the board is looking to, or the staff, excuse me, is looking to approve the data. And if you want an explanation of the data, certainly entitled to that.
But what if there should be more added to the expenditures?
So why don't you define that for everyone? So,
well, I'm looking at the healthcare position of Gallagher and all that. Mm-hmm. And I see that you have the drugs and I see the health planning consult, but is there the workman's compensation costs? I don't understand that part of it in the healthcare. So I'm trying to understand this report that I had asked.
You're looking for a breakdown of all.
Yeah, I am. I'm asking for more of a breakdown of it. And then I looked at where we were at. Now I'm basically doing my questions that I had asked her of where we were from last year to where we're at this year and where our budget's at. And we are I'm looking at the fact that year to date, we were at, for 2022, 10,388. We're now at over that dollar amount, and we still have more months to go. So I'm just asking for follow-ups of my questions on this report.
Right. Understood that, but you're not saying that the report is inaccurate or that the report doesn't contain the correct information.
No, but Dr. Farmer didn't want me to pull it because I had more questions, so I asked to have it tabled. And that was what I thought was the perfect way of going, that she wanted it for protocol. Never mind, disregard it then.
Well, it's up to the board. You can certainly table, you can make a motion to approve 3.4 and table the report related to self-insurance fund dated March 31, 2023. And if you want to amend your motion to do that, you can certainly do that.
Thank you.
Or the board can approve it, whichever the board, it's a board decision, whichever the board prefers.
You submitted the questions in writing?
No, we've been talking because we just started talking yesterday afternoon.
Okay. Is the data available to answer, to respond to her in writing?
we would have to look for the data.
Put the questions in writing and approve this as written and give her time to respond to the questions.
Okay.
That's why I asked her to table, because that.
Yes.
Because we were putting everything in print and email.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Am I out of order?
Yes, no, go ahead.
Oh, Dr. Klein, you mentioned what would happen if we didn't approve. Did we follow up with that answer? I was just curious. What is the detriment, I guess, if it wasn't approved?
Trustee Harris,
I
thank
think
you
it
for that
just means
question.
that nothing is going to change, but it's just not going to be approved. Nothing's going to be done right now, right, Carl? Is that what you said?
Well, on a monthly, at every meeting, you approve your treasurer's report, you pay your bills, you approve your finance report. So if you want to table a portion of your finance report, there's certainly nothing wrong with that, but I would approve the rest of your financial reports
I feel like
if you want to table it.
this is public information, right? And this is why we publish it. And there's nothing wrong with the report. There's just more information that is being requested by a trustee. I'm personally going to motion that we approve it and get her the information she would like later.
This was a report that I had asked to be generated. That's why I'm asking that. Because when I saw the report, Dr. Farmer and I and Dr. Namuo, I addressed that I still had some concerns on the report that I asked to be generated. And I did that, back in April, March or April? When I had asked about the report, because you said Daryl was working on it. So her team was working on the concerns that I had. So that's why, if there's still more, I didn't have a chance to have a full explanation of all of it, because I had just seen it in the back of the finance, because we looked at it and I didn't know where it was at. And I brought questions to her then.
I'm sorry, we just worked as a board and I feel like you haven't come to I don't feel like any of us other board members are even understanding what you really want. And so, if the report is accurate as it is, if you want more information for the next time this is on the report, great, fine, we'll work on that. I'm just not understanding what the problem is.
Every month when I go through the bills, I look at the dollar amounts for medical, vision, pharmaceutical. I brought those up. I think you were here at all those meetings when you heard me bring it up. I then asked if we could have a report generated, and I was told yes. Dr. Farmer said she would handle it with her team. That's where it came from. So it has been mentioned at the meetings when I pull out the dollar amounts.
So can I clarify this really quickly for everyone? So at the February board meeting, Trustee Broderick had a question specifically related to insurance. So in the follow-up communication that I shared with the board in March, I did highlight the information for everyone. So I pulled it up so I can cite this if you would like me to. It was board item 1.25 Human Resources Report, Insurance Costs versus Premiums per Jeff Heap. If you recall, this was the email I sent to everyone. Jeff plans on updating the schedule and the financial packet to the board. Currently, we only show expenses for self-insurance fund compared to the budget for health insurance. However, in the next board book, which you have right now, Daryl, the assistant controller, and Jeff will highlight the whole fund, including revenues, health expenses, and workers' compensation. So that's the report you have in front of you today. And so in my communication with Trustee Broderick, she just had some additional questions. We thought we responded to some of those questions. For example, there was a question about the Gallagher total revenue, and in the communication that I sent to the board, it indicated that it's at $67,000 Gallagher receives as a commission from Reliance, which is a part of the Illinois Community College Consortium for the life insurance, and that's approximately $40,000 a year. So that's all the follow-up communication that I shared with the board in March.
So is that lacking? Is that lacking for what you're looking for?
It was, because I still had more questions on it. Okay. And that's why I started the conversation with her, because I brought it to Dr. Namuo. He okayed for her to call me and contact me about it.
Let's follow up with that outside of the meeting. Let's approve this as it is with the motion that's already on the table.
Second.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Abstain.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Pazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now on to 3.6, Board of Trustee approval of the tax abatement amendment, Blue Sky Solar Energy, Grundy County, Illinois.
We need a motion and a second.
So moved. I did.
Was there a second?
Second.
First of all, thanks for waiting to the end. I appreciate it. So.
I thought she was because she was enjoying the audience.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. My name is Monica Shield. I'm here representing Nancy Norton with the Grundy Economic Development Council. She's very sorry she couldn't be here tonight, but I'm glad to be. So what questions can I answer for you about 3.6?
I understand we're the only one who haven't approved it.
Yes. So, for Blue Sky Solar, it's just an amendment. So I have the next two items on the agenda. So for 3.6, it's just an abatement amendment. Nothing substantive in the original agreement is changing. They've been experiencing delays interconnecting with the grid that are not their fault and not unique to them. This is a nationwide issue that we're having with connecting to the electric grid, the solar farm. And they're requesting an additional 2 years to be fully assessed so that they can finish their construction, have enough construction seasons and all like that, everything to do with that. So approximately 95% of their tax bill, the districts participating have approved this, and we're seeking your approval of the amendment tonight to extend.
So that would mean all the other school districts, all the other taxing bodies that would be principally affected by this have approved it as well.
Yes. There are just a few smaller districts left to approve it, and it's on their agendas in the coming days between the 15th and the 17th of the month.
For this item, we have a motion and a second.
Correct.
So we can go ahead and call the roll on this one.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia again?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
3.7, Board of Trustee approval of tax abatement for Minooka Hotel Association in Minooka, Illinois. Need a motion?
So move.
Second.
Monica, would you like to share?
Sure, I can share a few details. This is a Holiday Inn Express in Minooka, and the Village of Minooka brought them to our office, and they are seeking a tax abatement agreement with Grundy County and the other districts. This is the standard abatement that we've given to other hotels in the area, and all of the other districts in this case have already approved, including the schools. Any questions I can answer, I'm happy to.
Where is it being built at in?
On Granger Way, so sort of behind Pilot.
Okay.
That's their plan, yeah. Any other questions?
I live in Minooka, so.
Yes, I'm Shanahan, wonderful.
He's building you a hotel.
Yeah.
This will be our third.
We're working on it, yes. The other two hotels are very full. They did a feasibility study and they say we're ready, so.
That's good there. That was one of my questions too, to make sure there's enough
Yes.
demand for that.
There is a demand for it according to the studies that they've done, yes.
Karen, can you call the vote on this item?
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia again?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Ellis?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
3.8, Board of Trustee approval of the resolution to adopt tentative fiscal year 2023 through 2024 budget and placement of the budget on public display.
So move.
Second.
Chairman, if I may, I want to invite Karen Kissel to start the presentation, and may go in a bunch of different directions, but we've got an ambitious agenda tonight, and this is your first look at the FY24 budget. You'll see that it represents many of our priorities. My charge and challenge to the cabinet, to Dr. Farmer, to Karen as our CFO was, we held flat with tuition this year, as you all know. We held flat with property taxes, and so they had quite a task before them with no additional revenue streams through tuition and through property taxes. How do we fund the priorities that represent our ambitious agenda? So you'll see a lot of that right now. So Karen, take it away.
Sure, thanks, President Namuo. What you have before you, I think there's a presentation that will be going up shortly.
Yep, it's coming.
Okay. So this presentation, and there was a larger budget discussion at the Finance Committee meeting on May 8th, and this was endorsed by the Finance Committee. Jeff, are you also at the podium? I'm sorry, I can't see you.
See if it was on, yes.
Thank you, thank you. And I just wanted to commend Jeff for his leadership and Anna Perry for everything that they worked through with the budget, the conversations they had to be creative. And I think we have a wonderful presentation for you and a balanced budget, and we're very proud of it. So Jeff, take it away. If you can.
Oh, she took it with her.
We had to track down the clicker first. Somebody stole it. Good evening. Tonight we'll touch on the budget highlights, revenues, expenses, I guess within the budget, and then the highlights. From a revenue side, not a lot changed from the February workshop where we talked about the financial plan. Overall, approximately a 6.2% increase in our operating funds and a 2.2% increase on debt service. Debt service is determined by the referendum bond issue from quite a few years ago. With property taxes, we're under the property tax extension limitation law. So we're capped at the lesser of a 5% or the consumer price index. Consumer price index last calendar year was 6.5%. So we're capped at the 5%. And then approximately 1.2% or around 300 million in new construction is the estimate. So the budget does have a 6.2% increase to property tax revenue built into it. Tuition and fee revenue enrollment is budgeted at a 1.5% increase for paid credit hours from the 23 actual hours. And we were slightly under budget, about 1,500 paid hours last year. Summer and fall were down a little bit, and then spring kind of was actually up over the previous year. For state credit hour revenue, base operating $9 million, kind of assuming level funding. Our credit hours will get reimbursed, will be down, but so is the statewide system. The governors, I don't think they have passed it or approved it finally. I know the governor's proposed budget has an increase. ICCB has not released any individual school budget allocations. We believe we're being probably on the conservative side here, but I have no idea what our individual allocation is going to be yet. And then the career and tech educational grant, it's about 700,000. That's based on last year's actual. Interest income is first time in long time. Interest income's actually been meaningful to our budget, just with all the increases into the Federal Reserve over the rates over the last year, that it kind of makes up for what we did last year to balance the budget, the last of the CARES Act funding for lost tuition. So basically when you add in, property taxes are biggest, tuition, state funding, corporate personal property replacement tax, interest, our total operating budget is just a hair over $111 million, just the proposed budget for next year. From kind of a pie chart basis, the percentages, they haven't changed a whole lot. Property taxes kind of creeps up, is a little bit bigger. It was 58% last year. Tuition was actually 27%, and kind of federal tax or federal funding last year was 3%, and it's kind of been replaced with the interest earnings this year. From a personnel side, based on contracts and the union agreements along with negotiations, because they kind of range from 2.5% to 5.5% is what's been built in. Benefits, 7% increase. Originally in the projections, we were looking at 6%, but we said stuff was not trending the best, but 7% kind of maintains our self-insurance or our self-insurance fund and our reserves. Materials, supplies, contractuals, kind of an overall 5% inflationary increase was used in the budget. And then we kept our contingencies for the operating fund, 500,000 in the ed fund and 200,000 in the operation and maintenance fund. From a capital outlay within our operating funds, a little over $400,000, roads and grounds equipment, replace a truck that's 14 or 15 years old, a smaller tractor and the mower. Furniture replacement, kind of $100,000 allocation to maintain some of the furniture on campus. Campus police was update the radios they use, and 5 or 6 rifles, and then an allocation for a little bit of room remodeling upgrade. I'm gonna turn it back over to Karen.
Sure. So in having a conversation about the budget, what Dr. Namuo charged us with is thinking creatively and being strategic and deliberative. So there was a lot of discussion that the budget department had with each one of the individual cabinet members, that cabinet members had with their team, and that cabinet members had amongst themselves as we negotiated through the budget process. And in looking at the 12 full-time positions that were added to the budget, I see it in four separate buckets. One is on the academic side. It's growing enrollment and providing more efficient class scheduling. The second is the strategic initiatives that we've been talking about since Dr. Namuo joined Joliet Junior College. The diversity, equity, and inclusion focus that the college is placing and looking forward to under Escortina's leadership, we added 2 positions. iCampus, growing more programs, developing more programs. We added 2 positions in iCampus, and then 1 position for dual credit. It's supporting the 12 by 12 initiative. The third bucket would be student success. We added 2 student success coaches that are really going to be academic advisors to our students, and 1 person who's going to help support students in recruitment of athletics. And then finally, it's the security position. As Dr. Namuo has talked about, he supports our campus being safe and secure, and he's demonstrated that over and over with the flock cameras and with other initiatives that we've put forward. So we're adding an administrative sergeant to support Brandon's division. It's really focusing on the fact that we're going to be an accredited police force. We're one of the few police forces in a college that is accredited, and there's a lot of work that goes through the accreditation process in terms of policies, procedures, and trainings. And this person is really going to lead up that initiative and support, Chief Campbell and Commander Williams as we go through that process over the next year. Go to the next slide. And then this is where Dr. Namuo asked us to be creative. What we did here is we added 7 full-time positions by repurposing positions. We took 3 part-time positions in the areas of a student athletic retention specialist, a specialist for student activities, and we converted that into, I'm sorry, one more time. We took 9 part-time positions in building service workers, in groundskeepers, and in a student area, and we repurposed them into 3 full-time positions. We focused on student services, on student retention, on student activities, on student success. We also reallocated monies and dollars to add another person to the iCampus initiative. And then finally, we added, hold on. Those are the positions we added. So those are the positions we added. So we converted 9 part-time into 3 full-time positions, and we repurposed monies across the college to add 4 other full-time positions to support students, to support the strategic initiative of iCampus, and to support campus maintenance across all of our campuses.
So to summarize that, into our object codes, like I said, the salaries and benefits are the majority of our expense in our operating funds. Then materials, utilities, capital, other, a lot of that is the non-tuition expense, kind of the write-off for adult ed courses and dual credit, gross up revenue and have to write off the tuition expense, contingency, and then transfer. And the biggest part of that transfer is transfer over to our operation and maintenance restricted fund to put toward capital need, deferred maintenance and capital needs on campus. From a pie chart perspective, this is basically unchanged. We bounce between 78 and 79% for benefits on an annual basis. So this year we're at 78%. I think last year we were at 79, the year before we were at 78, so kind of stays in that range. So overall, Ed and O&M for our operating funds are balanced at 111, little over $111 million. This would mark the 51st balanced budget for the college and represents a 5.5% increase over last year's budget for our operating funds. Other funds, we usually don't talk a whole lot on them just because we always keep them balanced. Auxiliary fund balanced. We did have some of the transfers out of the education fund to maintain it being balanced. Self-insurance fund, it is balanced and our reserves are maintained. And our audit, liability protection, and settlement, they're basically funded by property tax. It's balanced. We do budget what we have available as a fund balance as a contingency, but we have not touched any of those contingencies in a number of years. Then on the infrastructure side, which we budget out of O&M restricted fund, the bulk of this is covered by that transfer out of the operation and maintenance fund. So this is all deferred maintenance behind the scenes. There's no big projects that anybody's really going to necessarily recognize. They're doing some exterior painting and facade repair for exterior wall. Heating system, it's a T building boiler replacement is the big item in there. Public safety, PHS, it's continuing what facilities have started replacing air handling units on campus that are a lot of them and very expensive. That's the biggest project in there, along with maintaining the camera system and electronic doors and our typical parking lot work every year. But this is our deferred maintenance items that are built into the budget to keep the facility maintained. So tonight is asking basically for adoption of the preliminary budget, which has to go on display for a minimum of 30 days and then approve the final budget at the June meeting.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
We didn't get to ask any questions. Point of order, we didn't get questions.
Too late.
Thank you. Thank you. When you said the increase, what was the dollar increase that we went from last year's budget to this year budget? You gave us a percentage, but you didn't give us the dollar. I didn't see the dollar amount. You said it went to up 111 and it was a 5.51 increase. What were we at last year?
I'm
looking at how many millions.
Yeah, I believe it was 6 million, but Jeff's going to confirm that.
Right around 6 million.
105 to 111.
Would have been 105,222,000, call it.
105?
105,221,800.
Got it. And then where are our reserves at now that we're doing the increase to the budget? Where do our reserves sit?
We ended up at the end of 22 in our operating, we had a little over a 30% fund balance reserve.
Which is equal to about?
A little over $30 million.
Okay, so it's 30 million. Okay. I'm asking only because of the fact that we've got all this ERP stuff that we're trying to catch up with. So I'm asking where we're at with the reserves and what's the requirements of our reserves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the work, Jeff, on this. I know this is a couple hours of work on a Saturday usually, right? No, appreciate it. All the hours.
Did it at lunch.
Yeah.
Right.
And just an FYI, Jeff has, because of the tax bills that came out, some of the numbers were different than what we had seen on our tax bills. He's going to give a presentation next month of all 7 counties to show what they were. And he said that he would show what the dollar amounts were of what we got. Thank you.
Karen.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Mahalik?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick.
Yes.
Trustee Ellis.
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen.
Yes.
Trustee Harris.
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next agenda item, new and old business, 5.1, there are no first readings. Move to 5.3, agenda requests by a trustee. And Karen, could you read the policy on that rule?
Yes, per the board policy 01.45.01, which is agenda preparation, any trustee may request that an item be placed on the future board agenda. The agenda item requested by a trustee allows the board to discuss the agenda item being requested. It will then be determined by a non-binding majority poll whether to direct the president to add the requested item to the future agenda.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. What input do we as trustees have about the newspaper that goes out? Do we have anything that falls under us that we can bring and ask to have put up and discussed? Because I'm looking at the last paper and I see some concerns that I have as a trustee.
Trustee Broderick, just for clarification, are you referring to the student newspaper, The Blazer?
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, legally, your only obligation is to fund it because you pass a budget that provides funding for the student newspaper. But I don't know that you have any editorial authority or certainly there's no legal basis for that.
So we don't have anything that we can say?
Well, I'm sure that the student newspaper itself, through the college's policies and procedures relative to all the other policies and procedures that we have with respect to decency and decorum, would apply. And I'm saying that generally, so they would certainly be obligated to do that. But in terms of control over the student newspaper, I don't know that
It was concerns.
Yeah, or concerns. I mean, I think those would be properly brought up to the president if you had a concern about that, and then he could address it like you would any other staff-led student organization, because it's a group on campus that we have. I don't want to call it an extracurricular to make it sound too much like high school, but that's kind of what it is.
All right, that's fine. I've already discussed it with you and brought it up. Maybe we should bring hold on. I gotta go through and see. Hold on. Our advisor. I'll talk to you after. After. Thank you.
Trustee Broderick, thank you.
Any other agenda requests by the board?
Nope.
5.1, President's Report.
Chairman Budzinski, thank you so much. Well, it's an amazing time to be a JJC Wolf. It really is. If you haven't already taken a look at the college homepage, please do. As we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, creating and maintaining inclusive spaces, a lot of things that you've heard from me and our cabinet level leaders, our diversity, our programs are on display. And one of them is Linda Miller, which come to find out, I've been calling Linda this whole time, but I was corrected today at CMOS. It's actually Linda Miller. So you have to say her full name. So Dr. Farmer and I had a chance to visit with the Center for Multicultural Access and Success student recognition ceremony. So many of you are wondering what this happy grad, I did it, and cool little thing is here. This is one of the centerpieces that I did not steal, that DeAndre Butler lent to me, but it highlights a couple of things: a celebration of our minority students, number one, and the graduation is next week. And so I look forward to seeing many of you there. Best night of the year. And I want to give a shout out to Giovanna, to Juliana, to Areli, and to Linda Miller. So the four of them shared just the most incredible, amazing stories of resilience for incredible students that we will capture their stories as part of the Roots and Branches initiative, because those four stories will inspire this generation and the next. And one of the things you won't see on my highlights this week is a celebration of our enrollment numbers. but I do want to highlight some of them. And you will get a presentation in June as, returning trustees are used to getting this presentation from Dean Morris about our enrollment numbers and the breakdown. But let me just share some of them. I think it's an opportunity to celebrate some of the work we're doing in marketing, some of the work we're doing in enrollment services. And while it's far too early to celebrate our fall numbers, I'm going to do a little bit of that right now. But just to give you an idea, our summer numbers are up headcount 16.8%. So these numbers are hot off the presses, 16.8%. Summer 22 to summer 23, which that summer semester is right around the corner. So those numbers are very promising. Another promising number, and maybe I'm stealing Bob Morris's thunder for June, but I'm going to do it anyway. New students in summer up 47.7%.
Yeah, it's great.
So a lot of what we're doing in those areas are working. In regards to our minority students, we're celebrating them on the way out. I'm going to celebrate them on the way in. Our African American students in summer up 28.7%. Our Hispanic students, summer 22 to summer 23, 51% up. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to celebrate those. The preliminary numbers for fall are also quite promising. Currently, our head count is up 12.8%. And one of the numbers I picked out from this report is full-time enrollment is up 16.2%. And expect more information from Bob Morris about that. But as we know, full-time students are retained, persist, and complete at much higher rates. So thrilled to see that. Additionally, total minority population for fall 2023 is up 16.8%. Enrollment is up double digits on main campus, city center campus, and Romeoville campus for the fall. Couldn't help myself. Really promising numbers that we're looking at. Again, want to thank the board for your service. I think Laurel said it really well. You are all serving our college. And we're here to support you in whatever way you need us to do that. And I love what Trustee Garcia said, whatever stage you're at, right? We'll take you from wherever you are to wherever you want to go. And some of the things I highlighted in the state of the college sounded like that, right? We're serving students before they get here. We're serving students far into their older years. So we are and remain committed to our identity as a comprehensive community college. So again, shout out to the outgoing board and welcome to the incoming board. Had an opportunity to attend and address the Latinx Empowerment Conference. Our VP, Roberto Valadez, was there, gave a rousing speech to our students. I guess not yet our students. Some of them are dual credit students, but these are our high school students. This is an event that's very similar to our Black Teen Summit. Celebration of identity, just a great event we had, and just want to give a shout out to the team. And additionally, Representative Avalar was here, and she shared some inspirational stories as well. Had an opportunity to attend the Electric Vehicle Expo, and there's Senator Ventura there. And additionally, I'm going to give out some just some props here. So you'll see Professor Dan Warning on the right-hand side, and you don't see Kurt Ward pictured here, but Kurt Ward was there as well, one of our automotive instructors. And I want to highlight, I know it's tough to see, but upper right-hand corner. Okay, so Tiana and Kainoa joined me, as they do at many of these events. I took a selfie with Emily and Anthony. Oh gosh. I'm going to get their last names. I'm going to get their last names soon because I wrote down Dan's last name and it's not. But Emily and Anthony. So Anthony actually built this. It's hard to describe, but it's a skateboard that's automated that he controls with a remote. And he built it using parts that he created in our maker space and reused. Like, these are recycled batteries. He's one of our students. And he built all of that. So shout out to Emily and Anthony, and they're going to forgive me, hopefully, for getting their last name. Speaking of the Maker Lab, we had an opportunity to celebrate the ribbon cutting, the opening of the Maker Space. And Alicia Brennan was here earlier. Alicia's everywhere. She told a story of how the Maker Lab is used, or she's using the Maker Lab in some of her prosthetics classes. And so the video that's looping back and forth, of course, is Stephanie Braun virtually cutting this ribbon. Many of you saw this at the State of the College. It's JJC's effort, attempt, commitment to get into innovative and emerging technologies and use those technologies in instructional spaces. I know, it's an applause track, but one more thing, real quick, one more thing is shout out to Christy Mulvey and the foundation and Citgo for supporting financially this effort. All right, enough with the applause track. For those who aren't aware, we had the opportunity to host Brian Durham, the executive director of the Illinois Community College Board, and his team and his staff. And they just really wanted to see the city center and really wanted to see one of our signature programs, the culinary arts program. And so take a look at some of them. What you're not seeing and what I should have provided was a video of Chef McGrill creating that fish that's lit in blue. He took it from a slab of ice and created that fish right there in front of us. So I've got some great slow motion video if anyone's interested. So shout out to ICCB Chief of Staff Matt Berry, who was here along with Brian Durham, the ICC Board Chair, Teresa Garate, and Michelle DeFore was here as well. Jennifer Franklin was here as well. And of course, shout out and much thanks to Chef Mike McGrill, who was our tour guide that day. I had an opportunity to earn my mental health first aid certification. So this is something I've been trying to do for 2 or 3 jobs now. And finally, Kelly Rogers said, this is when you're doing it. Go here at this time. And I'm doing this for a few reasons, right? Many of them you could probably figure out on your own. But this is an emerging need, a growing need for our students. And the optics of the president dedicating a few hours of his day to go through with about, 15 to 20 of my colleagues there, I think says a lot. My hope is that it says a lot to the college community, says a lot to our students, and I want to encourage many of you, all of you, to consider becoming mental health first aid certified as well. So I want to give a shout out to Michael Leocone. I want to give a shout out to Heidi Stuckel and all of my fellow mental health first aid participants there. I did also have an opportunity to participate in the Active Minds fundraiser. So they sold tickets. Aisha's laughing right now, and I know why. Trustee Ellis is laughing. They sold tickets to pie people in the face. Now, all of this money goes to support student mental health through the Active Minds Club. And Ryan, who you met earlier, pied me right in the face, but it was for a good cause, for student mental health. I want to thank Trustees Harris, Broderick, and Trustee Morales for joining me to welcome Illinois Supreme Court Justice Mary Kay O'Brien. It was really powerful what she shared with us. Her background in farming, from the farm to the halls of JJC, on to the Supreme Court of the state of Illinois. So just want to send a shout out. Thank you to our trustees for making themselves available, and just thank Justice O'Brien for being here, and Bill O'Connor, the Department Chair for Business, for pulling it all together. Dr. Farmer and I will be accepting an award on behalf of Joliet Junior College for some of the work the college has done to support the African American Business Association. This is an incredible award and honor. We've both separately recorded acceptance speeches on behalf of the college. ABBA will actually send a crew to do some filming around JJC. So it's really an incredible honor, and just want to send a special shout out to the executive leaders of ABBA. As many of you know, they grew out of the Joliet Chamber of Commerce and are now their own separate entity. And so especially want to send a word of thanks to Chris Parker, the president of ABBA. And as many of you know, this is my opportunity to give a shout out to our faculty and our staff and our employees. And I want to spend some time acknowledging the great work that our Human Resources Department does. We are a people-driven enterprise. We can't do any of these things without the support that Judy and her team provide. I want to take a moment to acknowledge Judy's leadership stepping into this role as the interim CHRO as we welcome on a permanent CHRO. Judy, thank you again for your leadership in this space. And thank you again to our Human Resources Department. Service with a smile is what I think about when I think about human resources. Preliminary, happy Mother's Day to everyone. And on Friday, May 19th at 6 p.m., we will indeed be celebrating 540 graduates at JJC. The chairman, thank you for the opportunity to highlight a lot of the good work we're doing and a lot of the cool things going on at JJC.
Thank you. 5.2, representative to the JJC Foundation, Mrs. Christy Mulvey.
If y'all quick give me $20 for an endowment, I won't do my report.
Okay.
All right, kidding.
Nice.
Good evening. Yeah, I'll die trying. I'm pleased to announce that the Namuo Family Scholarship has reached $26,198 in less than a year. So as you know, Dr. Namuo pledged to do this within 3 years, and we're pretty darn sure that we're going to do that within 1 year. So we're really happy with that. And I just wanted to mention how much our faculty support our new president. One of our faculty members retired. His department gave a bunch of money for him to decide where he wanted to earmark that in the foundation, and $1,500 of it went to support Dr. Namuo's first generation scholarship. So it shows a lot of support for him from our faculty and our retirees, and you know, it's something really to be proud of. Our 50th anniversary of the foundation appeal went out, and we already have received $29,615. So we're just a little bit away from that to be endowed. The save the date cards will be sent in June for the September 15th event at the Rialto Theater. The scholarship application process for fall classes closes May 15th, and our hope is that once the grades are uploaded by our faculty, we can start the scoring process and award those funds on the students' accounts before the first drop date. One of the things that Dr. Namuo mentioned was an increase in summer enrollment, and I hope that the fact that we now give summer scholarships away has helped. I know the students can't use Pell and MAP money for the summer, but we sure can help them with scholarships, and we've been doing so in the last month or so. So we're hoping to keep that up now and support our students for the summer. The alumni office will be giving away a JJC alumni t-shirt to each graduate as their gift this year. My team will be there to pass out their gifts, and we're also currently stuffing all the diploma covers with an alumni message for them to encourage them to stay connected to the college. This year's athletic golf outing is going to be, Foundation Athletic Golf Outing is going to be July 14th at Nettle Creek Golf Course. That's part of Morris Country Club, and we're starting to take reservations. Our next Foundation Board meeting will be next Wednesday, May 17th at 7:30 a.m. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
5.3, representative to the ICCTA, ACCT, Ms. Maureen Broderick.
How do I do this? Oh, there it is. It's on. Okay. All right. Just want to give you some highlights that Diane and I were both down for the ICCTA Lobby Days on May 2nd and 3rd. It was a great visit. And some of the things before I start showing you who we met is the Lobby Day topics that we talked about in some full length and some quick short notes because they had limited time, was that Joliet Junior College is their first community college here and all over the 50 states. Investing in our students, we talked about the workforce and our partnerships with the workforce. Dual credit 12 by 12 by 12. We talked about short-term Pell and workforce Pell to achieve more students gaining job situations with shorter hours and terms for certifications. The BSN for our nursing students to achieve with JJC since there is a huge shortage. Expanding our campus westward to increase our enrollment in the Morris area in the Grundy County. The enactment of the DREAM Act. Continue to control local control for our community colleges, which means not going state, but keeping it local. And then the approval of the funds for the higher education that the governor has proposed for the 2024 budget, which was very crucial because he's giving quite a bit. And I'm going to go through, and I want you to look at the senators that we got to be with. We had 14, and we saw all 14 of them, which was a great success. Here's where Diane and I are at the state capitol. So you're going to see some great pictures of in the state capitol and looking over the gallery where they actually do the voting that we got to see and the chart of who was voting for what. It was kind of a good experience for Diane to see too. Next, our Illinois senators. We got to see Senator John Curran, and he's the minority spokesperson. And the things that we liked about, and I'll give you some brief stuff on Senator Curran. He supports our community college short-term Pels and knows we need to increase enrollment. He's very positive about that. We enjoyed speaking to him. The next one is Senator Tom Bennett. This was, we felt like we were following him all over the Capitol. Look at all of his qualifications and his background. He is on the caucus that they're now having, which is bipartisan to increase the community college awareness, which I'll show you that coming up. But he was fantastic. He agrees with total support. He's the co-chair of the first inaugural legislative gathering, supports JJC and community colleges with full support for short-term Pels, workforce, and the BSN. Next one was Sue Rezin, Senator Sue Rezin. She's been serving us since 2010, long time. She's out in the Grundy County. She was ecstatic about moving westward. So this was a great opportunity to talk to her. And all of the same ones, we shared all of the same concerns with all of them. So we made sure they all had the same message. And then I'll show you what we left each one of them to have. Then we met Senator Hastings. Now, Diane didn't get into this one because I kind of snuck in and saw him with the New Lenox Park District because the Park District was having their floor demonstration on the Capitol. And Senator Mike Hastings was very knowledgeable about us, very knowledgeable about supporting the ICCTA functions, he said, and definitely supporting anything we need for Pell, for short-term grants and all that stuff. He was excited about it. The next one was Senator Rachel Ventura. She's in the community. She knows what JJC has to offer. Being a former Will County board member, she shared everything that she comes to with her kids here, which is great. Mm-hmm. Then we have our Illinois Senator Meg Lofgren-Capel. She too, JTH, board member, IASB delegate. She knew everything that we were looking for. And look at the qualifications, behavior and mental health, education. She's an educator, a lifelong educator. She's synced in with us. She knows what higher education means. That was exciting to listen to her excitement. Now we go with our Illinois state representatives. Representative Larry Walsh, he's been serving us since April of 2012, firmly believes and supports in everything that we mentioned in our discussion with him. Short-term, bachelor, the BSN. He was even surprised when we started talking about the Westward, but he thinks we need to do that for enrollment. Then we had Representative Harry Benton. Harry Benton was interesting. He supports JJC, encourages supporting to expand law enforcement at the training at JJC because he wants to see JJC become a training site. Are you aware of that? Oh, good, because he was all excited. He was pulling up numbers for us and showing he supports all the veterans. He's a third-generation veteran, but he's supporting House Bill 3295, which is to give the veterans free services without being charged, so fee waivers. And he was great to talk to, totally supportive. Then we had Representative Natalie Manley, serving since 2013, an alumni. She was anything we need, she's there. She wants to support us. And she's also the majority leader, the assistant majority leader. So we want her support, unbelievably want her support, and she's there. Next one was Representative Dagmar Avelar. And the key thing that I thought was interesting with her was the House bill that she is supporting. And this, I think, is 2288, which I think Dr. Namuo should be familiar with. It's the four core courses in Illinois Articulation Initiative Major that must be considered transferable, which is huge for the community colleges to have. She's one of the sponsors of it, and she was very adamant about the healthcare and the respiratory that we've got here at JJC. Very supportive. Then you have Representative Tim Zinga. He was excited to see all that we're doing, that we're moving forward to expand our enrollment and moving westward, even though he's on the east side. He still likes to hear that we're moving and doing that. He's very positive about the ICCTA functions too. So he was excited about everything, the BSN, the Pell Grants, the short term. He's excited about it. Then we had Representative Anthony DeLuca. And this was funny. He's got all this background of being on a school board member, but he had no idea what the ICCTA was. So we gave him a good background about the ICCTA. Next one was Representative Jason Bunting. He was fantastic. He is an alumni, agricultural, and he is a farmer, and he wants to, I think he's on the queue for the branches and roots and branches.
Absolutely.
And he's excited beyond words. He's totally behind us. He's new to the district, but he's loving every bit about JJC. The next one was Representative Jed Davis. He too, brand new, but he is very excited and shared stories about what he does and what he's supporting. And he is supporting, the focus is on workforce and skilled training is what his main focus is on. His wife, his spouse is a JJC alumni. Yeah, we found that out. She's a designer, and that's where she got her training, was from us. Here's what we had left them so that they had the total wrap up. And I gave it to them from the ICCTA so that they'd have something to have in front of them, which they enjoyed seeing the details of it. And then that night we met for the Illinois inaugural legislative reception, which was key because our governor spoke there. And we had a great time listening to Bennett and to the Republican representative that gave state representative that gave her position on it. They are all for the increase of the budget. And we had guests that came too with Diane and me. We had Kelly Roder-Tonelli and Dr. Farmer, which was a great opportunity for all of us to see and talk with everybody that was there. And then, of course, we did meet up with our lobbyist, Julie Curry, who said anything that we need to let her know. She'll be glad to work on it. And as we know, she does quite a bit for us anyway. And then here were the significant funding increases for the Illinois Community College. And if you look at one of them, and I'm going to just go over what was there, the second page, 100 million increase for MAP, 19.4 million, which is 7% increase for community colleges. And this is all under the governor's FY24 budget. 10 million for new grant program to develop non-credit program in advanced manufacturing and elective vehicle technology, 1 million for data center curriculum, 3.2 for new community college dual credit grant program, 5.2 for new community college non-credit workforce training grants, 2 million for digital instruction as an adult education program, and 0.75 million to expand English as a second language program. And then this is just a brief thing showing what that was about. And then we said goodbye to Springfield. We had a great time there. It was a great opportunity for us. And, you know, I think when you look at the opportunities that we have, it's necessary for the legislators to see us in person so that they know what our commitment is from JJC. And I like the fact that Diane worked with me and understudied with me. And there are several key dates that are coming up that I want you all to be aware of, which is June 2nd and June 3rd for the Illinois Community College Conference, which is going to be in Bloomington. It's all day for Friday, and then the meeting is on Saturday for the Board of Representatives for the annual meeting. So it starts at 8 a.m. I recommend you getting down there Thursday night so that you have 3 days down there and you get yourself oriented. Then September 8th and September 9th, we're in Springfield, and that's where Dr. Namuo will be doing a discussion You promised me. You did. For the dual enrollment and dual credit.
I know.
So he's going to dual enrollment and dual credit. He's going to be our guest speaker. So I think we should all engage in that. Then we have the October ACCT Leadership Congress. How many of us are going to that?
Where is it at?
Las
In
Vegas,
Vegas.
Nevada.
Las Vegas. Okay. And the one is October 9th to October 12th. And that I always recommend getting there a day ahead because everything starts early in the morning. And then the next one would be November 10th and 11th, which will be another ICCTA meeting that we have we have 6 meetings that the ICCT does, and then we have 2 that the ACCT does. So we have a lot of meetings that go. And with that, with saying all that, I'm hoping that our chairman continues to keep me as the ACCT or the ICCTA rep since I've been doing it for 8 years and have a good rapport. And I'd love to train our new trustee, Diane, since she has a high interest in going to that. And we've had a lot of, we need to get more involvement with our group to come because I know that Alicia's come to some. I know that Michelle went to one out in Hawaii. We need to get more. And I have an agenda meeting with the CEO from the ICCTA to adjust my goals as the president of the ICCTA, which will not take any time away from this board for us to have the 5 agendas that are going to be the focus. And Dr. Namuo is going to work with me too with our CEO from the ICCTA, Jim Reed. And with that, I conclude. Thank you.
Do you have something as well?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I pardon me. Diane wants to, she has to give something.
I don't want to take up a lot of time. I just wanted to say that
I'm sorry.
I was very impressed with the senators and state reps, how they supported JJC. We had no problems. Everyone that we saw gave us a thumbs up and said that they're definitely for the agenda here. So I was happy to know that. And just meeting with everyone, the ICCTA, other trustees from other areas, I enjoy that. And I look forward to going back again. And I'm thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah. And I got to say this too. I'm going to add one more comment, because Diane was surprised at how fast we went through. And so were my trustees, the other from the ICCTA. We booked a lot of appointments on Tuesday because they said, be our guest. Even though lobby day was on Wednesday they have so many committee meetings that they were like, yeah, come. We were boom, 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 boom. And weren't you overwhelmed with how fast we saw them?
I was, and I was surprised that I was able to take as many notes as I did.
You did.
So, we worked very well as a team, and I have to say I was very impressed that we got all that in 2-3 minutes.
We got it all in. Thank you.
Agenda item 5.4, our student trustee report from Trustee Ellis.
She does.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
I would like to start off my report by saying thank you for this opportunity. I am very elated to learn from each of you, and I want to give a special thank you to Josh for being of great support throughout this transition, to the student body for your endorsements and support, to Dr. Amy in the Office of Student Activities, as well as every other individual who has taken the time to show their support. Thank you. I'm excited to share some of the great things happening on campus, whether it be a recent past event or an event in celebration of us coming to the end of the semester. I had the opportunity to see the community come together to support the Empty Bowls project on April 20th. There were 200 bowls of soup sold and distributed, and all money raised in support of the event went to the JJC Foundation to help support food insecurities for students. The Latinx Empowerment Conference was hosted by CMOS and took place on April 14th. There were close to 400 students from surrounding high schools in attendance, and their guest speaker was Gabe Salazar. Pride Alliance Pride Gala. There were over 100 people in attendance, and I would like to give a special shout out to M, Ryan, and the rest of Pride Alliance for putting together such a wonderful event. The theme was True Colors, Be your most glamorous self. Come as you are. They collaborated with JJC's Gamers Club and included video games as well as disability services and included a sensory room for everyone who may not have felt comfortable with the loud music and large group present, but still desired to attend. And I look forward to seeing what they do next year. Active Minds Pie in the Face event took place on April 27th. Active Minds hosted the event to raise money for mental health awareness for college students. They raised $626, and all the funds went to the JJC Foundation Mental Health Fund. I'd like to give a shout out to Beth, Miss Chris, Miss Heidi, Alex, Andrew, and the rest of Active Minds for putting together this great event. Also, thank you to Mike Leacombe for selflessly taking one for the team and allowing multiple people to pie him at the end. I heard him reiterate the fact that it was for a great cause and in support of the students, so thank you so much. NSLS induction ceremony. For those who may not know, NSLS is a national leadership society, and we have a chapter here at JJC. On April 27th, we had our second induction ceremony. There are 118 students in attendance for induction, as well as over 200 guests. We have more than 300 in attendance. I would like to say thank you to our amazing keynote speaker, D. Kelly Rotatinelli, our friend Joanna S. from the NSLS National Office, who came all the way from New York just to be in attendance, our advisors, Amy and Amanda, and the entire executive board who worked together to create an amazing event for the students. Our final Collegiate Club Council meeting of the school year took place on May 3rd, and we voted in a very diverse and full executive board for next year. We also awarded Joelle Laganero Student Leader of the Year, Maria Rayfat Club Advisor of the Year, and Cyberwolves Club of the Year, all very well deserving. NSLS service event took place on May 4th. NSLS members came together for a day of service and created cards and flowers for Meals on Wheels recipients in Will and Kendall County. Shout out to Emily Reppy and her committee for leading such a great event. Stress Relief Week. Monday, May 8th through Thursday, May 11th. Stress Relief Week consists of collaborations between the Office of Student Activities, the Mental Health and Wellness staff, Sustainability Union, the Tutoring and Learning Center, and Word Eater. Everyone is working together to help create stress-relieving activities as students prepare for finals. Therapy Dogs and PB&Js is an annual event during finals week where students can get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and spend time with therapy dogs. Employees, faculty, and staff volunteer time to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for students. This event will be taking place on Monday, May 15th, as well as Tuesday, May 16th from 10:30 to 12:30 at the H Center Bridge. And thank you to everyone who will be volunteering. Finals week. Congratulations to everyone. We practically made it through another school year. Thank you to every JJC employee for everything that you do to support the student body and make sure that we learn in an amazing environment. And to the student body, I wish you all the best of luck on finals. Thank you.
5.5, Building and Grounds Committee report.
Well, the loan bid that we voted on tonight was the facade, and it came in at about $50,000 underneath the budget. The CDB project for the air handler unit replacements has been put on hold. Apparently, the contractor that was awarded it did not submit a bid bond in time. The CDB says, but the contractor says they did. So they're basically going to go into a little bickering. I guess there's like a 14-day review to process to see the results of what they determine. But most likely it looks like it's probably not going to, it's going to go to the next contractor in line is what the Buildings and Grounds Committee is thinking. So let's see. In design right now is the adjunct faculty area. Pat, we did have some contact with an adjunct faculty, emailed Karen, and he was wondering if they could be in the process of how the adjunct faculty lounge is going to be like, I guess. Is that something that's open for discussion? Okay, well, there you go, Karen. I guess we got an email answer for that. So,
Thank you.
A couple of things going on. We replaced the G building. Switchgear is in process still. Remodel the G building restrooms, which is in progress right now. The parking lot improvements, which will start at the end of the school year. It looks like we're going to target the ring road and some parking lots in the area. Miscellaneous capital improvement projects, which is a bunch of HVAC repairs, is going to be going to design. As you guys know from past, our busiest time is the summertime because we don't have any we have bodies here, but not as much as we usually have. So, and then the boardroom dais. This will be our last official meeting in here until this place is redesigned. And I guess it will be looked at in August, I think, right, is the completion date? August is completion date?
Yep.
And
we're in Romeoville?
No, next month we are in
we're
the
down.
U auditorium.
Auditorium.
Yeah, and then we should be back here in August.
Okay.
And then this.
Yeah.
And then the CNA lab at Romeoville is waiting to start. So after the semester completes. Next building and ground meeting, if anyone wants to attend, is June 14th at 4:30, right before this regularly scheduled meeting here. So that completes my report. I'm sorry I was a little bit long-winded compared to everyone else. So
that brings us to 5.6, the board policy committee report.
We have not met. We did not meet this last month preparing for.
Yeah, actually, the items that were on the agenda, I discussed those at the last board meeting. So this is just the following reading, but I did give an update last month. Thank you.
5.7, finance committee report.
I will make up for it, that last report for this time. You guys had our report today with the budget and also the, that's all we really had today, so.
5.8, chair report. I mentioned earlier in the evening about what my whys were, and for us as a campus, not to sit back and watch what everyone else does, to let everyone sit and watch what we're doing. And that's what I want to be, I want them to look at us and say, wow. So that's it for a chair report and motion for adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.